It's January 21st, 2025. Let's get started. So the first thing on my mind is cooking. And I love food. Like food porn, it's one of my favorite subreddits, and I love just like going to restaurants and trying food. And as a kid, I used to watch, lots of Food Network and specifically, Rachel Ray, Iron Chef America, Chopped, all that stuff. And even now, when I go to places, the first thing I'm always looking for is like the best restaurant to eat food at. But having said all of this and loving food, I don't know why, but I've never had the urge to sit there and cook on the regular. And I was trying to puzzle out the reasons why, and I think I've come down to, three main factors. First is the procurement of the ingredients. Like right now, I'm 25, I'm living in Seattle, I have no car, so I'm sort of limited by number one, where I can walk, and number two, how many groceries I can carry back over that distance, right? And so right now it takes me zero point 0.4 miles to walk to a grocery store. And then I'm limited by, two bags that I can carry in each of my hands. And I have to make sure that the bags aren't too heavy because otherwise they might rip, etc. Additionally, when it's cold outside and it's winter, like it is now, it's a real bitch to walk even half a mile with your hands freezing off and heavy. So, number one, getting the ingredients is tough to do. And some might say Instacart, blah, blah, blah. Valid, but I don't make enough money in Seattle, especially with the driver minimum wage, to sit there and being paying like an additional $30 on top of whatever my grocery cost was. It just isn't feasible right now. So Instacart's out. So having said that, the first difficulty is the procurement of ingredients to cook. The second difficulty in and of itself is cooking. Cooking is actually way harder than I thought it would ever be. And I should really be given a lot more credit to chefs after I realized how hard it is to cook. And the reason I think it's so hard is because of the number of different dimensions in which you can screw something up. So, you can over-season something, you can under-season something, you can misproportionally season something, i.e. if you're adding salt and pepper and cumin, you add so much cumin that it's overpowering the salt and pepper. Likewise, without seasoning, instead you can over grill something, you can under grill something, the meat can be too raw, the meat can be too well done, to the point where it turns chewy or rubbery, or burnt. So in and of itself, getting the ingredients right in terms of quantity, getting the cooking right in terms of how long you cook, and then also figuring out which ingredients go with what, because taste buds aren't like a linear thing, right? Different people have different taste buds and they vary for inexplicable reasons. And so even just figuring out which ingredients go together is really tough. Like I don't like sweet food. Like my primary food that I like is spicy food. And so whenever I have some sort of sweet food that someone home cooks, or whenever I put too much honey into like my cereal or whatever I'm cooking, it's like it just tastes awful. And so that makes me not want to cook either. And the third thing, which is also a useful segue, is cleaning. So cooking takes a while, but then I struggle so much with cleaning. Like cleaning actually takes it out of me so much. And it's not just cleaning my dishes. It's also just sitting here cleaning my apartment on the regular. Like I only clean my apartment when it's overwhelming to me. When there's so many paper bags lying around or so many clothes lying around that I feel like I need to take action before the roaches get to me. But some people are way more disciplined about it, to the point where they clean their apartment on like a weekly cadence. It's like, okay, Sunday at X p.m., I'm always going to set it aside in order to do my household chores and maintenance. And I've always admired that, but I've never understood where it comes from. Does it come from like OCD, where they hit the point of freaking out way before I do? Or does it come from like a sense of discipline, which is they've always done this activity at this time, so they're going to continue doing it? And like my personal theory on this is very much like a nurture thing. If you grew up in a super clean household, your parents have probably instilled in you those same habits yourself, and you're going to be compulsive about it. So cleaning, another skill that I need to get better at. And the last thing I want to talk about today is bulking. Obviously, the cycle of bulking and cutting is very popular in current gym lore. It's like you bulk for X amount of months, you gain whatever you want to put on the necessary strength, and then you cut off the fat, right? And people make it sound so easy, but it's so difficult on like both dimensions of bulking and cutting. So starting off with cutting, people are like, oh, I put on the weight, I'm just going to lose it. But cutting is actually the most mentally taxing thing that I've had to do recently outside of like running, because you sit there and you see everybody else around you eating whatever they want to eat, but you have to be very, very diligent about what you put into your body. Because even though something may not look like it's full of calories, calories are deceiving. Like I just had a sandwich and I'm not even full. But that sandwich was definitely like 850 calories because it was loaded with mayonnaise. It was loaded with other sauces. It was loaded with cheese. And so like even though I'm not entirely full, my body's hit a massive caloric amount. And when you're cutting, that's like dialed up to 100. You have to be hyper cognizant about every single thing you put in your body. And then you have to be able to fight your body's and brain telling you, I'm hungry, give me carbs, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And it's just torture because you walk around without energy and feeling like you don't have energy all day. Makes it tough to concentrate and do anything. Bulking is also tough. When you're bulking, you're sort of just eating as much as you want to and eating lots of protein if you're doing it right. And so when you're eating lots of protein, it causes two things. Number one, obviously, since you're putting more food in your body, you're going to feel more full and drowsy almost. It's like you're going to have extra weight hanging off of you and just walk around feeling like a slob. And number two is the amount of protein farts you have are ridiculous. And protein makes it tough to go number two as well. So you just walk around letting it rip all the time and you can smell the foulness of your own farts, and that's just god awful too. So bulking, cutting, very, very, very freaking hard. And so kudos to everybody who manages to do it. That's it.